What's up? So it's finally the start of a new week. You guys, especially you Canelo fans, the Manny Pacquiao fans did this. The whole boxing world does this every time, where we have to, subvert, invert, and create a new reality to cope with, the, some of you it was traumatic to see what happened to Canelo Alvarez, just how easy Terrence Crawford was able to beat Canelo Alvarez. Um, you know, just real quick, Canelo needs to develop a jab. He came into the fight, and again, your your punch to cover distance and everything else, your only lead is the lead left hook to the body. And again, the TV was giving Canelo a lot of credit every time, he threw one of those punches, but a lot of them were getting blocked, and they clearly had no effect or phase Terrence Crawford, who got stronger only as time came on. But Crawford being in the southpaw position was definitely masterful, because it definitely takes out that lead left hook to the body. He would have had a better chance if he actually came in with a jab, but we talked about this type of stuff in the lead into the fight. Crawford was just catching and shooting all night. He had, of course, higher ring IQ, everything else. Hand speed was the killer. But again, everybody was overlooking the footwork in this fight. You guys were so fixated on power, hoping Canelo would land a shot that was going to knock Crawford out. Crawford was catching and shooting for the most part all night long again, and coming with fast, blistering combinations, which included body head. Just catching, shooting all night. His defense was on point. Some right hands did get through, but they did not have maximum effect. Even the ones that they were highlighting for Canelo, a lot of those caught Bud's glove partially, but still got through. Very few seldomly got in and landed that had a very good effect. So that's to the body, to the head. Crawford's, again, movement kind of neutralized that. His lateral movement, especially when he'd switch it up, Canelo couldn't set his feet, made it very hard for him to, again, land any real hard, effective punches. I'm trying to think what else. The footwork, again, this is just what outright destroyed Canelo. The half steps, the lateral movement, again, Canelo couldn't set his feet. I'm trying to think what else, man. Oh, yeah, you clowns. Going back to, inverting and crafting a different reality just to cope with what occurred. It's quite pathetic. I still haven't really gone back and gone to some of these guys' channels, that were kind of challenging me in the comment section, but it's been dead. I'm actually starting to get a little worried about you dudes. This is why I told you guys Terrence Crawford needs to be with the Jason Voorhees, needs to be with the Michael Myers. This man decimates fan bases, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, we got to give Bud a nickname. I don't know if I want to call him the Bay Harbor, the Butcher, like Dexter, or, we got to call him the Gulf of Mexico Butcher, because I don't know, a lot of you dudes have gone missing. I'm actually starting to get a little concerned about you guys. I also see as well, they finally moved, the Ring magazine has finally moved Bud, pound for pound #1, by the way. But, they're trying to get this dude to do Canelo's work, trying to get him to fight, David Benavidez and everything else, You guys made such a big deal how it was impossible for this guy to move up multiple weight classes and do what he did to Canelo Alvarez, dude. Oh, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. It's just too funny to watch this process when you see a fan base just go radio silent like this, and then you guys are just so desperate. Trying to say that the fight was close and trying to give Canelo all these rounds that he did not get. The TV, they're still trying to push that Max Kellerman. I watched Ringside this morning, which aired. They're trying to claim that the fight was even going into the 11th and 12th round. So it's just pathetic what these people need to do. But this is what we talked about from the beginning. Your guy is a guy, and I told you, and I beat this dead horse multiple times, is a guy who can't stand on his own 2 feet. It was the machine that holds him up, not only in victory, but also in loss. The punch stats, one of you in the comment section, You told me that, they originally had it 165 punches landed for Terrence Buck Crawford, and then they changed it to 115. You even bet 2K on it. That's pretty sad, and it sucks to hear that. But these casinos, and this is just a warning for you all today, this is nationwide. If people, are winning a big amount of money, they don't let people walk out with their money anymore. That's just how much even the casinos are hurting today in regards to that. In this fight, none of the Canelo fans were putting money on this fight. You know what I'm saying? It was literally a 50-50 fight. Canelo being around minus, 160, 170 favorite, that's nothing, guys. It's really not. And Bud just being a plus 140, that means nobody's really putting their money. There was some people last minute putting their money on Bud. A fan supposedly dropped a $2 million bet. But, you got to always consider the boxing odds and how that works into this fight as well, the boxing economy as well. And I could easily see why they hurried up. They probably didn't have the money to pay everybody out because nobody was putting their money on Canelo Alvarez. So it just sucks that you couldn't even get legit betting on this fight, which is pretty sad. You fans, I hope you guys are doing well. I've seen this happen before again, when fan bases just get decimated. And Crawford definitely, again, we got to think of a nickname for his serial killer name. I told you guys, the man's a psychopath. He's a maniac. Canelo, he'd get hit, and you could see that he wanted to start to quit. He'd get hit with the jab, especially like in rounds 11 or 12, and he just walked towards his corner, you know what I'm saying? And then remember, he's still in the fight, guys. This was just the ultimate beating. You understand, physically, mentally, spiritually. You even had demons ringside, guys. I posted the evidence. Posted the evidence last night. Nothing gets by my eye, guys. I'm sorry. Even the demons were crying about that performance there. They were butthurt too. But it's just funny to watch. It's another broken record. It's another rerun. I told you from the beginning how this was going to go down. I really was hoping Bud could stop him, though, to really put emphasis. But again, it is what it is at the end of the day. It was a great historical performance. Although they're trying to lie and make narratives and things like that, this is just how these things play out. We all know it was a one-sided beatdown. You guys are trying to convince yourself that, just like you did with Bivol, by the way, that Canelo was blocking and slipping a lot of those punches. We got two witnesses that say otherwise. The TV and AI tend to agree with one narrative, and then, of course, you have the people that are, Canelo, he's got a multi-fight deal signed with Turkey Al-Sheikh, so it's damage control at the end of the day. But TV AI claims that Bud easily landed over 150 punches on Canelo. AI has it at 172. Jabber AI, or whatever that thing's called. I'm trying to keep away from AI, guys. But also during the telecast, the final punch that is told by my dude in the comment section was 165 for Bud. You understand? No, Canelo was not blocking and slipping a lot of punches. We all saw what we saw. He was beating that dude up. And it's to the point now, before we were questioning if Canelo was, maybe Irish, but Bud had that dude looking like he was Mongolian in there, dude. Had that boy's face all messed up. You know what I'm saying? All flat, So again, even more confusion on Canelo's true heritage, I think he's a psyop. I think he's an industry plant. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe he came from Mexico anyways, in my honest opinion. But, it is what it is. I know there's a lot of cope. I know there's a lot of bitterness and soreness. A lot of you are trying to save face and act like, it doesn't faze you. It's funny. I'm just wanting to know, how are you guys going into work today? If you're taking the day off to still cope, you know what I'm saying? If your butthole is still sore, Bud did exactly what he was going to say he was going to do. He says, "Is you going to be a nobody?" And he said, "Watch, I'm gonna, put a mud hole in your butt." But which is exactly what he did. But it was again to the point where Canelo literally, he was frustrated even from as early as round 5, where he squatted Terrence Bud Crawford. I told you guys he was going to get frustrated. But, upon further examination, when Bud was starting to land these clean punches, this dude wanted to quit. He didn't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Again, get popped with the jab, start walking back to the corner or something, trying to walk out of the ring. Oh yeah, I'm in a fight, okay, let's do this. But, you guys are lucky he's a professional. He could have easily seized those moments and punched him in those moments because the dude's not protecting himself. But, we told you about this. He just, when it gets real tough, he can reach a certain threshold, but when you bring him to that threshold, he just can't cross it. He needs his fake little production. He needs his fake little narratives and whatever else. He needs his silent agreement opponents like Kovalev to sit there and tap jab him all night. You know what I'm saying? Not even try to win like Jermell Charlo and all these other clowns. I told you it was a different fight, You couldn't weight drain Bud. You couldn't dehydrate Bud. He was moving up. The advantage that you normally have on these bigger guys, who you're also draining, by the way. Bud has that advantage over you, the hand speed. In this case, I told you it was a mismatch. He doesn't have nowhere near the boxing acumen, skill, punch selection. You understand? He really needs to learn a jab, just like I said in the beginning of this video. You need a better weight if you're going to be a stalker, you know what I'm saying? You needed something better than the lead left hook as your lead punch to go to. It's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? You need a jab. I would say even a lead right would be better suited than that lead left, But again, he kept his hands inside, kept his elbows tucked and everything else, was able to catch that lead left hook basically all night. Canelo was really just mostly landing on the hips. And I even saw at one point during the fight that left hook landed on Crawford's ass. And Crawford was able to counter back. But he's going to need a jab. I saw it's just like in Rocky where they had him sit there and just, start just developing his jab. The dude told him just throw 500 jabs. Canelo needs to start doing crap like this at this point. You can't be the boogeyman anymore, especially after this fight. The mystique is worn out. You allowed a dude to move up multiple weight classes and just decimate you. You know what I'm saying? Try to make up your lying, false reality and narratives all you want. Again, TV witness, Bud land about 160, almost 170 punches. AI has Crawford landing 172. And what's funny about the AI as well, because they do this in all Canelo fights, and I told you this before the matchup, and they will have Canelo landing 50%. But if his opponent's outlanding him, they'll always just help him out with the punch stats to make it seem like it's more even. But against Bivol fight, they were more honest about those punch stats. There was hardly any rounds where Canelo landed in double digits. And it was the same in this fight as well. I know the punch stats are going to say Canelo landed this much, whatever. It's all nonsense. I'm sorry. And you're going to see in rounds 8 or whatever else that they have Bud landing low single digits. Those are the rounds they try to give Canelo in the back 6 as well. But, no, it's pretty typical for Canelo, especially when he's against elite opponent, to not even land in double digits. Again, just like in the Bivol fight, and it was the same for this fight as well. He would, land, 3 or 4 maybe left hook attempts. They give him credit for that. They were giving him credit for things that did not occur, but you could easily see in the fight, again, what happens when you have a real fighter versus an assisted fighter the whole time. He's Tank Davis, guys. You know what I'm saying? You cannot deny that. The same type of preferential treatment is the same type of stuff that fighters like Tank need. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if, Crawford did knock dude down, they probably would have tried to not count it just like Tank or whatever else. They're obviously very desperate because they had the fight even going into the 11th round, which is, again, a crock of nonsense, okay? But I'm just checking in on you Canelo fans, and I'm hoping everything's okay. You're not doing anything too stupid. Hopefully none of you are, have substance abuse issues where that kind of depression and just downward spiral, is triggered even further. So I'm deeply concerned about you guys, If you guys want to come back, and you want to troll, I mean, it's standards are always the same on this on this channel, bro. It's got to be based on reality. I'm not going to sit here and entertain fantasy. You understand? We all know what we saw, and you guys cannot deny what happened. You know, and this is just another reminder again, the truth will always stand. People get paid to lie today, you know, and that's part of the business of the game. You know, they like to reward liars. But again, it's just stupid and it's pointless at the end of the day because the truth is going to stand. So, you know, I posted evidence on punch stats, everything else. You do want to come back. It's got to be based on reality. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.